Hey everyone, welcome back to The Mailman, the brand focused on breaking the stigma around male body image issues. So where do we leave things last week? So I went through high school, video before that went through primary school. So the next stage is uni. So I've kind of touched on how difficult high school was, the kind of little practices I used to put into place to cover myself up, and how I would avoid certain situations, getting changed with, you know, my school friends or sports teams. Uni was a bit weird because I developed a bit of an issue with my legs due to my weight, and it's called shin splints. So that was something that I'd been to doctors about. I'd seen a couple of specialists, and they'd advised me to essentially lose the weight, you know, or as much weight as I could to be able to continue playing rugby. Otherwise I'd have to give that up. And because I loved sports, I loved playing rugby, you know, I kind of put a lot more effort into, you know, continuing to play that. So I was starting to get a little bit more interested in nutrition and diets and, you know, working out and things like that anyway. But I kind of took it to another level. So I'd you know, done some research and learned more about calorie deficits and things like that. And I kind of looked at my diet. I looked at, you know, where the most calories were coming in. And obviously, you know, being an only child, being Asian, pretty much every evening we would have rice plus something else, a curry or whatever. So rice, and it was a big plate of rice. I ate quite a lot, was obviously impacting, you know, the weight. You know, that was a big contributor. Also the fact that after eating this big plate of rice every single day, we had this kind of sweet draw, but that was like a sweets, chocolate, crisps draw for me. Before going up to do my homework, I would obviously eat this big plate of rice, grab a packet of crisps, grab a chocolate, and you know, a third item of some sort, and then go up to my room, and that would kind of be like a snack whilst I did you know, my homework. So I kind of looked at all these things and realized, look, I'm not doing myself any good. These are all going to be contributing to, you know, the weight, and obviously won't help me to lose the weight. So I kind of just went cold turkey, lost a shit ton of weight. I'm talking like 5.5 stone in the space of probably 6-7 months. Not just by cutting out the crisps and the chocolates after dinner. I basically swapped the rice for lettuce. So I think if I kind of look at it, I was eating a ball of iceberg lettuce a day. So it would be, instead of rice, it would be lettuce and, you know, whatever curries and meat that, you know, my parents would make. I cut out the chocolates and the crisps as my kind of after meal snack. My lunch times were lettuce again, you know, lettuce and ham or chicken or whatever. So it was a complete kind of shift. So I felt like I had to do this in order to continue doing what I, you know, one of the things I love doing, which was playing rugby. And yeah, you might say that's, you know, a bit extreme. It definitely wasn't healthy, because, you know, I kind of felt like, you know, you could see it in, you know, the way I looked. Like I kind of looked almost too skinny in a way. I still had the chest fat, which was annoying. You know, that never really went. Well, it obviously reduced, but I never felt comfortable taking my top off. In fact, I probably felt like it looked a bit worse, because I had a lot more kind of loose skin and things like that due to the drastic weight loss. But the good thing was, when I, you know, started uni, so this whole transformation, it was really, so year 13, so like A-level time, that's kind of when I went through this. So I was conscious that if I were to go to uni and play rugby, I had to lose the weight. And so I started it in my final year of school. And then when I got to kind of the summer, it was great because I could then start, putting more time into working out. And I was almost sick in the head of it. I would work out 2, sometimes even 3 times a day. I'd wake up, go to the gym. Obviously I wasn't eating or drinking, the kind of the protein and stuff. It was just lettuce. It was just salad, lettuce, and no carbs. It was pretty much like an Atkins diet, but just with, lettuce and whatever meats my parents would make. And that's what I did for months. And it obviously worked. I lost a load of weight, but I did exercise quite a bit. And then and obviously going to uni, I felt more confident because I was slimmer. I felt like I could make more friends. I didn't know anyone else going to the same uni as I did. So I just felt like, I was going in a better looking person, and that's what, I needed to be in order to make friends or get, attracted by, is it attracted by people? Attracted to people, whatever. So it was more like I'd done it. I was slim. People were going to notice me and become friends with me. And it felt like it happened. I got a lot of attention. Friends started to develop. But being at uni and obviously, Freshers Week and all of, the drinking culture, everything kind of started to panic me a bit, because not only was I still conditioned into this kind of way of wanting to eat healthy and, avoid things like beer, it was also really difficult because, those are the things you do at uni. You drink beer and you get pissed, and then you go and get a kebab or, fried chicken and stuff. So I felt myself slipping very quickly. Even though I knew the damage, that eating these greasy foods would do to me, I kind of just felt like I couldn't avoid it really. So I had to, sign up to a gym and just kind of mentally feel like I was doing something to kind of battle all the kind of unhealthy stuff that I was taking in. And I think the 3 years at uni, I was definitely, bigger when I finished than when I started. And, that's the same for a lot of people due to your, lifestyle and eating habits and drinking habits. But I think I was always a lot slimmer than I was back in school. And so I just felt in a slightly better place. However, kind of going into later stages in life, I knew that wasn't sustainable. I knew that I was then going to be living on my own. I was going to be, starting work. I'm not going to have, the same group of friends and people to be hanging out with. How am I going to kind of manage this on my own? And quite quickly after starting work, I was almost at the same weight that I was back in school. So I'd put on probably like 3-4 stone in a very short space of time. So within like maybe 9 months or so, obviously going out for work drinks and meals and, living on my own, not really being asked to cook and, eating out quite a lot. That weight just piled back on. And because, I was just starting a new job, I didn't have much money, there was no gym memberships I could join. It was central London, gym memberships were well out of my price range. And so I just kind of started to put the weight back on, and instantly, starting work and, being in that type of environment, I went back into those same habits of closing myself back up, never taking off my jacket, even on the hottest of days, just keeping as much of my, body covered as possible. Obviously the acne was still quite bad, obviously eating all this shit food and, drinking, it came out of my skin. So it was just a kind of a really bad situation to be in, but I couldn't do anything about it because it was pretty much all in my control. I just didn't have the willpower to make that change, and that's what kind of remained then from, you know, for at least another sort of 2-3 years beyond that. So every corporate job that I had, or every sort of office job that I had, I'd always have bad skin. I'd always feel overweight. Well, I was bigger still, but I would always be extra conscious of, you know, my size, and I'd never take off my jacket. You know, I'd avoid certain situations, or, you know, I'd kind of take time to go to the bathroom, and just kind of, you know, check out my face or reapply some sort of concealer and stuff. And yeah, it was a real kind of horrible habit to have, but it was the only way that I could get through the day, sitting, you know, on a desk surrounded by people where they were always looking at each other, or they were talking to each other, and, you know, there's only so much you could do to kind of stay quiet and stay silent, and, you know, hide behind your computer screen. And yeah, it was a really difficult period, but I think it's just one of those things. I regret doing it, but at the time I get why it was so important to me. And I know there are probably others out there that are doing the same sort of thing, or staying under the radar, or trying to be, you know, kind of on their own because of those same insecurities. And yeah, I mean, it's, looking back at it now, it's absolutely stupid to think that, you know, or kind of look at how much I let those issues and insecurities control my life. And it was only kind of recently where I just, as I said, I just felt like enough is enough. Because even up to a few months ago, if I was going into the office, or if I was going out with friends, I'd do the exact same thing. Like, I didn't know about compression tops and things back then, when I was working in London, but I would have been wearing one every day. And up until a few months ago, I was wearing one pretty much any time I went outside. And so these kind of little habits have just stayed with me for the last sort of nearly 20 years. And I can honestly say they have made, yes, at the time they made an impact in just being able to survive that day. But looking back at, you know, at the whole situation, I just feel like I've wasted so much time, you know, trying to look better for someone else, or, you know, thinking that if I look a certain way or hide myself in a certain way, other people will think of me differently. Or, you know, all my friends are skinny, or they're slim, or they're well built. You know, I need to look like them. And I think, you know, at uni, that was a very different mentality, because especially playing rugby, everyone was different. Everyone was a different size. There were much bigger guys at uni as well, who I felt, you know, comfortable knowing that, you know, we're all getting changed together. There are bigger guys. They probably have the same type of insecurities as me, but they had that kind of confidence about them where they just didn't give a fuck. You know, they would just get changed. They would just get showered. I still did the same things. Like, I'd go to the cubicle to get changed, or, you know, I'd have a shower, but I'd kind of stand in the corner so that no one could see anything of me. Or I'd wait till, you know, everyone else had had a shower, and then I'd have a shower, or I'd avoid showering completely until I got home. You know, all of these things, it just makes me feel so angry at myself for thinking in that way, that made me feel like I'm going to be judged. I'm going to be made, you know, to feel different, because deep down I felt different. I felt like I wasn't good enough. But yeah, I mean, obviously looking back at it now, it was completely ridiculous, and it has made no difference to what I've achieved, you know, later on in life, settling down, getting married, having kids. It has made no difference to those goals that I had. But I feel like all of these little things I've missed out, have caused me to miss out on a shit ton of stuff. And just being, you know, more free and kind of be able to enjoy certain situations. But I get it. If you're doing the same sort of thing, I get completely why you're doing it. And I'm just trying to kind of be here to kind of let you know that you, it sounds easy for me to say, but you shouldn't be doing that, because how you feel you look shouldn't determine, you know, what goals you can achieve or where you want to end up in life. You know, think of yourself highly. A lot of this is, you know, a battle between yourself and yourself, and you shouldn't let anyone else make you feel like you don't deserve, you know, to achieve those goals. If you want to achieve those goals, if you want to be healthier, if you want to, you know, hit the gym because you want to get fitter and stronger, perhaps you do want to lose some weight, but you know, you want to do it for yourself. Do it for you. Don't do it because someone else has called you fat, or you think I need to get slimmer so I can get more friends or attract girls or attract boys or whatever. Do it for you because you want to do it. And that's the kind of the main message from this video is, we've kind of summarized everything now from, you know, 5-6 years old pretty much to date to now. And honestly, if I just listened to myself and did what I wanted to do, I'd be in a much happier place. So I can't advise anything other than just do it for you, because you'll regret it.